Hi, my name's Tom Vaessen-Walker and I am Operations Director of Parthian Climbing.
I'm John Dunne, the owner of Parthian Climbing.
I think climbing's developed quite a lot in the last few years. So our newer site, which would have been Reading, is nearly 11 years old, and just in that 11 years climbing has moved leaps and bounds. And the main focus for this was to take everything that we've learned and all the developments that we've made in our 3 existing sites and just make it bigger and better.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of working with a wall company, there are several wall companies, or probably half a dozen good wall companies that we could work with. But we'd worked with Entre-Prise on our Harrogate project 10 years ago, and we were really impressed with what they'd done for us. And really, it was picking up on that and going, well, how can we do a wall 10 years on with them? You know, where have they come from? Can they manage a project this size, this scale?
So in designing this wall, one of the big things that we wanted to do was create space. We wanted to make sure that in the design process we had all the key elements. We wanted to make sure we had good lead walls, competition walls, Olympic boulder walls, speed walls, but we didn't want it in any way to compromise the space. We wanted customers to be able to have a good experience, be able to move around the centre, socialise, obviously, especially with what's currently happening in the world. But we also wanted it to be future-proof so we could expand. And I think having a quality facility that we are able to be proud of, expand on, and have all these elements in, but again, not compromise on having it really crammed in, and almost doing a little bit of the old school thing of making too much in a too small a space.
This is the first wall we've done where, yes, already there are a few things we may have changed, but we've pretty much got exactly what we wanted. And now we've actually got people in the building. That's the true test of, has the product worked? Is the design exactly what you planned it to be? And I can, you know, after a week's trading here in Southampton, we're really pleased with that.
I think the key thing in creating this facility is we wanted to make sure that we could cater for everybody. It was accessible for kids from 4 years old all the way up to athletes that are training to be part of European Championships or even the Olympics, dare I say it. So we wanted to make sure that in the space we could have everybody interacting. We didn't want to zone people into little areas where they couldn't interact. So having kids on smaller top rope areas, but also having it opposite a really impressive lead competition wall gives them something to inspire to. Every element of our centre is important, and therefore we didn't want to compromise in tucking people away. And I think that was a really good thing about how, when we were designing it with Entre-Prise, is we wanted to make sure that the whole flow of the facility was really considered, and we didn't want to have an area where it was almost a bit of an afterthought. Everything from the gym area to the training facility to the kids' boulders to the warm-up areas has always been taken into consideration, and viewing areas and chill-out area and zones around those. When we first went through the tender process for this wall, the most important thing we wanted to do, ideally, was to work with a UK-based company. Obviously, with Brexit on the way and with everything that was sort of happening in the world, we wanted to make sure that this project was actually going to get off the ground. And it was really nice to be able to work with EP, who are based in the UK and have a quality offering, and were able to give us everything that we wanted, and in some cases a little bit more. And I think in terms of the quality of the build, I mean, I think Entre-Prise is quality is world class, you know, in terms of the paint, you know, the way they've done the nice straight edges. It's a modern, crisp wall that you would see in any city in Europe. And for us, it was all about the quality build, something that we can work with as we go along. It's going to have longevity, and we're going to be able to maximise it and develop it over time. So the nice thing with this project was there was a lot of elements of it that we had to maybe tweak, or we were consciously developing as we were going through the process. And the nice thing with working with EP was that there was flexibility on how we did that. So sometimes we maybe were having certain elements of the wall built ahead of others, or we had to work around other contractors on site due to slight delays, and it was always really easy to work with and never any issues really with it. The positive thing as well is in it, if we were able to change things at a bit of a last minute, they were also really helpful in being able to support us in any on-site builds or tweaks or developments, which was really good.
So in terms of working with EP, I think, you know, once the design was agreed and we'd gone to manufacture, we'd pretty much had a 6-month, you know, site build process, from piles of steel coming off the back of trailers, piles of wood turning up, right through to a finished product where the final, you know, the final T-nuts got in and the last stroke of paint's gone on, and the process has been brilliant all the way along. I mean, the team who've built this have been phenomenal on site. You know, they've remedied issues as they've come along. They've worked with us when other contractors have been about. And I think for me, that's the reason we went with EP, is that we had a relatively local company working with us. There was regular contact, regular communication. Problems and issues that will arise regardless of how good a company is were remedied quickly and efficiently, and the project rolled on in what we see as pretty much seamless fashion. So yeah, we're really pleased with what the outcome's been. I think the team are pleased, and I do think the contractors and the guys who ultimately have built this thing were really happy in the process as well.
The really nice thing with EP is right from the start we had real clear lines of communication, and during the whole construction phase, whether or not it was talking to the team leaders who were on site doing the actual build, or whether or not it was talking to the design team or talking to the main contractor, there was always someone there to talk to. Yeah, every project has its teething problems, but in the grand scheme of things there weren't really anything that we were really that frustrated about or couldn't be resolved by a conversation or a little bit of a tweak in the design or plan. So the quality of finish on the site has been great. There's been a few things along the way that we've sort of had to work on and tweak, not because it's been a bad product in the first case, but we maybe wanted things slightly tweaked, and it's never been an issue. It's always given us exactly what we wanted, and it's been a great process to work with the team on.